Whoa, there we are, and here you are.
Hello out there.
Hey, bro, James is the first one here, James Dix. And then there is John Greason. Hey,
Dr.
John.
John, good to see
And
you.
Sinette from sunny Denmark. Hey, Sinette.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning to you, hon. And hey, CJ. Good to see your face on here, young man. There,
Mm-hmm.
Brother Kessler. We called you, Brother Kessler. We couldn't get through to you, but thanks for checking on him. There's Dee Dee and George. Hey,
George,
sweetie pie.
Dion.
They've been so helpful to us. Thank you so much, Dee Dee, and you
Mm-hmm.
and George. We are here, and we don't know if anybody else is coming in, but we're going to go ahead and do a little something, something.
Yeah.
Tell them how you're feeling.
Well, I went through the surgery Thursday,
Yeah.
and before I did, I started out. We started out in we'll call that room was in preparation room or what? Where they get you ready for the
Surgery.
surgery.
Yeah.
And I started off with a satsang with the nurse who was in there, and I started talking
Which
to her.
is your usual. Yeah.
I usually talk to them, and the doctor came in. Everything was real nice, and he asked me, "Are you ready?" Was I ready? And I said, "Yep, let's go." And so they went in. The anesthesiologist came in, and we went to talking to him, and he looked and understood everything that I said about who we are and the union of Christ, and all the information that I gave them was all the stuff we talk about in a brief moment. And then from that set saying, we went on upstairs. I going into recovery. When I got into recovery, the first nurse that came in.
Now wait a minute. You jumped from getting prepared for surgery to recovery.
Well, I jumped over to the. I went to the room to recover after the surgery, and the surgery went well.
It did.
And so we went on up to the other part in that area, up in the room, and they come in. And when one of them came in, we started talking about who we are to meet each other, and I talked to them about why I was there. It was for surgery, but it was mostly to meet them and to talk to them about who we are. And after a while, one came and wanted to stay. They went out and come again and brought two more. They were two or three of them staying at one time.
Oh, you had a revolving door.
Oh, it was really something.
Yeah.
And the most amazing thing is that one of the nurses, I talked to her about her son and what was going on with him. She broke with tears so much, she just cried and cried. And the other nurses asked, when they come in, asked what was wrong with her. She said she's fine, but they were some of the people that had heard before of the grace of God that was in that room. It was absolutely miraculous, the whole thing. Now, I've had many times like that, but this one was a little bit different. At the end of it, as we went on through, we found out that what was caused, my wife was supposed to pick me up.
Well, we don't have to go into all that.
Yeah.
But it was a real task getting him out and getting him discharged. But since he's been home, he's progressing really fast. Actually hadn't had a whole lot of pain medications.
No.
And able to move it some.
But you see, I got it over here and I can't raise it so high.
Well, he has to keep it like that for a while. But I'm anticipating that he'll probably heal up so fast that
it will.
Yeah, actually, it's doing better than the first one. Yeah.
We've had our little rounds with trying to get things lined up to work with the left hand, but I'm finding out that I'm finding ways to survive with the left hand that I've never used.
You're becoming more innovative. Yes.
But more than anything, we are grateful for you guys who. Your prayers, your affirmations, and whatever you want to call it, that helped us.
Evidently, they're working.
Yeah, it worked.
We weren't going to come on this morning, but he felt well enough to do that.
Yeah, I wanted to come on. I don't care if I was hurting. I wanted to come on because I want to see your name and your face.
And by the way, Sue's come in. Hey, Sue.
Yeah.
Hey, Sue. That sounds like a Mexican, Hispanic name. Hey, Sue. And
hey, Sue. Yeah.
And hello, Buzz. And Sharon, hey, sweetie, how are y'all? And there's Brother Blue. And John Greason says, so good to see us both. It's good to see you too, John. Even though we can't see your actual face, it's good to see that you're with us, and we appreciate that.
Now, hello, I do feel a little pain right now but I'm relocated my arm, and that caused it to leave. But I'm going to
But
hang
you
in
haven't
here.
had any pain medication this morning, have you?
Well, I took 3 this morning as the normal Tylenol.
Regular Tylenol. Okay.
But that helped me get through.
And here comes Vern. Hey, Vernie. Vernie and Johnny just got back from Aruba. They had a wonderful trip there. Hey, Clay, I'm glad you're with us this morning.
Clay Jr. All right.
All righty. I want to do a quick affirmation, if that's okay with you. Is that okay? Okay. You guys ready to do this? Let's center in and gear down to find out who we're not. This particular affirmation, if you want to call it that, I don't like calling it affirmation. I like saying that it's a declaration of the truth of who we are. But this is a I am not declaration. And then there's a term called neti neti in the East, which means not this, not that. So a lot of times in the process of finding out who you are, or coming to the place of seeing who you are and that you are, you will discover more quickly initially what you're not. And in finding that you're not, in discovering that you're not, then that you are just kind of is unveiled and uncovered.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because you're already that, but you're covered by what you think you are, which is what you're not. So let's just do this. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And let all tension, all desires for what should take place right now, let it all go. Let's just surrender to the moment. There's nothing more important than this moment. And I want you to repeat this after me. What I am not. I am not my thoughts. I am not my feelings. I am not my opinions. I am not any judgment. I am not this body. But I'm happy with this body. I am no particular experience. I am not an object that I can see or imagine. I am the witness of everything. I am not anything that can be constructed. I can't point to any particular form and say, this is what I am. I am not any form. But I am present in the forms. I could not perceive God or Christ if I didn't exist. I am not the conditioning that this body has gone through. I am not the memories that this body contains, this mind contains. Some things I would like to forget, but I cannot. But they are insignificant. I am not any object. I am not any race. This body is some race. I am no pattern. I am not anything. And so it is.
Now, a statement that was made when Peter, or you go in the book. Let me say this first before we get into this. Whether you read the Course in Miracles or whether you read the Bible, if you don't believe in the Course or you think it's false, or you don't believe the Bible is real because it was tampered with by different men, there's one thing you cannot deny, and you may not know it. You may have to inquire into it. A lot of people don't understand that when the body dies, there's a part of you that still exists. You said we can't prove it. I don't know anybody died. Well, that means you need to inquire and investigate. Once you investigate into this thing, you must exhaust it the way you do everything. You must be engrossed with it with such an intense moment that you are determined. If you don't determine to find out, if you don't have that taste in your mouth and somebody's talking to you about it, don't let your monkey mind get upset with them. There was a lady that came into my room. Out of all the people that came in, bunches of them, nurses, standing around my bed. At the end, there was one person who asked me one question, and it was, "Are you a Christian?" I said, "For you, yes." And the reason why I said that is because everybody else that came in, the way I talked about Jesus and what he had appeared to them in their life and the revelatory insight that I gave them about what was going on in their life, they knew it had to be God.
Well, and they were not concerned with they weren't concerned with what you identified with.
That's right.
They
That's right.
simply received.
But that one came in and it did the same thing to Jesus in my form that he did 2,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. Are you the Son of God? Mm-hmm. Are you born again? Mm-hmm. If I had told her no, she probably would have enjoyed it, or it energy. There was an energy in her that was challenging me when she said, "Tell me something about myself." Well, now, I wasn't going to respond to that because by discernment, like it was with Peter, it said, and Peter's voice betrayed him when the little girl asked him, had he been with Jesus? He didn't want to accept the fact that he denied it, but his voice betrayed him. The girl said, "I can tell by the way you sound that you've been around Jesus." Mm-hmm. That is what we mean when we say your meat need to be tenderized. Yeah. You long time ago, when you take a saucer, hard beat that saucer. Sometimes they take some hard knocks.
That's for people who could not afford the best meats.
That's right.
They had to buy the most economical meats, the cheapest ones, and they were tough.
That's right.
So they didn't have mallets most times. So they just used a saucer to kind of soften that.
That's right. Mm-hmm. I did not know that before we ever found out anything about Christ being our Savior or finding anything about the Course and the Bible, that there was a part of us outside of the Bible that was eternal.
And outside of any sacred text.
Because if you ever had somebody around you that asked you, "Well, you going to heaven or hell?" and you said hell, well, if you go to hell, listen to this. Spend eternity in hell in your imagination, okay? Or you'll download it. Let's back off of that a little bit. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Mm-hmm. Hey, if you go into hell and spend eternity, the key to you being in a God class is eternal. Yes. Yeah. So we say this over and over again because the mind that came in that room as an energy was trying to find out if what I was telling those people was coming from the main source. Right. Right. None of the doctors questioned it, none of the other nurses, but there's one. And God let me get out the door with one of the attendants that was absolutely clear. They stood in the hall and thanked me for being there. You see, God will take calamity and turn it into a jewelry store. What I did when he got ready to be discharged, of course I got all this stuff and I went down to get the car so I would have it there for him when he came downstairs. And on my way out,
there were several young ladies that he had spent time with talking to the night prior, and they were spreading the word about what he was saying and doing in his room. So they were telling people, you need to go see the man in 3109.
Mm-hmm.
And so while this other lady who was there, and I, by the way, I want to say that it was not her as a person that came to disturb.
That's
it was an energy that was disturbed by what you had already done with some of the others. So that energy was there to disturb. But what I did on the way out, there was one particular young lady, and I told her, I said, she had been in the room with him before. I said, Pastor's getting ready to leave. You better go see him before he gets ready to go. Mm-hmm. And I sent her there because I knew her energy would interrupt the energy of this other young lady. And so, and guess what her name was? Angel.
Yeah, it was. She's from Jamaica, wasn't
she? So I sent the angel.
Mm-hmm. Angel.
I sent the angel to break up the disturbance. And she came in, and because originally the young lady who was causing the disturbance was going to walk out with him all the way downstairs. And when Angel went in, totally changed everything. So there are all kinds of ways to deal with things without being antagonistic. You don't have to be antagonistic.
Now, what at the end of it, they put me on morphine. I remember the lady talking, and she said,
which I wasn't in agreement with, but yeah,
she was trying to keep me from pain until it was time to be dismissed, but it went over the time. So my wife had to come back 3 times so that was cleared out.
In essence, and we will move on from this story, but it was 5 o'clock, 5:30 before we got home, and he was supposed to be discharged at 11. So our day was crazy, but we made it, and he's doing much, much better. He's doing very well. As you can see, he's almost back to normal as far as being able to function. He's just
I'm just like I was in the hospital when I was talking to the rest of them. I am convinced that you and I and everybody else in the universe is the voice of God in this form. And I would, if being you, I can't say if I was you, and since I know I am you, don't use force to try to get people to believe that you are one with God. Let it rest in you strong enough to where they say, rest your stake overnight.
Let the presence that you are.
Yeah, let it rest overnight.
Let it be that speaks.
Let the tender part of the meat saturate your whole body. Let the heart of God that you have always been. Now listen, what shocked me was the Inquisition when I found out, one, I was one with God. One, I was in Christ. That's two. I keep my finger. I keep 2, but my mouth go 1.
Okay, that's 2.
Oh wait. Hold on. I know why I'm doing it.
Okay, go ahead.
That's only 1 in those 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. That's only 1.
There's only 1. Yeah.
1 is finding out that you are one with God. Another 1 is that you're finding out that you can't die because you're eternal. Another 1 is you are infinite. Yes. I was never told that, and some of you out there were never told that in your Sunday school lessons. Exactly. All it said to you in your Sunday school lesson was the stories that you got. And when the Reverend come out there to preach, he preached the stories all over again. Every one of us have a calling of God on your life, and that calling of God on your life is the waking up that you and God are in the same place. Let me answer this question. When you pray, from what position are all your prayers answered? One position in particular.
I'm going to take this down since you're talking about that. I'm going to remove that so
you
can see us.
What position does God have in your life that when you pray, he hears you? What position in God that it is in your life that if he didn't want to hear you, where would he be? We found out that God can't be turned on and off just because you work in the liquor store. God can't be turned on or off just because you're having surgery. God can't be turned off just because somebody come and threaten you.
Yeah.
God can't turn you on or off or turn on and off just because you lost your job. God can't come in a building and say you're no longer his just because you have a bad day and a disappointing adventure. God answers your prayers from inside of you. Let's take it further. God answers all prayers from being you. And that's a big one. You must get settled, tenderized. And what temporizes your what tenderizes your spirit of God identity or the soul? Watch this. When you make yeast bread, in order for it to develop into a full form of complete yeastness, you set it in a dark place, cut the lights off in the kitchen overnight.
You don't have to do that.
Well, I mean, this is this way I was taught that in the old day. If you didn't finish it, if you had the light on, it still had to set.
Yes.
What caused that to be tender and reform itself is leaving it alone.
Yeah.
And allow it to work its fullness.
Right.
Don't hound and pound your husband. He's sanctified by your sanctification.
Just your presence. Yes.
Your presence.
Just your presence.
Now we're coming home because home is a place you never left. And the place you never left is that before you were formed in the belly, Jeremiah 1:5, you and God were standing in the same place. Abraham was the father in the Old Testament. Abraham took his son, which represented Isaac as the Christ in us, took him to the altar, or Jesus, the body, took him to the altar, and he was given instruction, supposedly be from God, to kill him. Now, most of you would have said, that wasn't God told him to do that. Well, here it comes again. God stopped him when he got ready to kill the boy and gave him some instructions. The instruction that you've always needed and will always get, will always and have always been inside of you. Even if you were an alcoholic, even if you were a murderer, even if you didn't like Jesus, didn't believe in God, or believe in hell, or believe that Jesus was an abuser, an accuser, and a judge, that still does not remove the fact from you that you are eternal.
Of course, yes, yes, yes.
Now. We are now.
Well, hold up for a second. You have some more people came in. I just want to acknowledge.
Okay.
Sadie, thank you, darling, for your wonderful email. Ali, are you still in New Mexico? And Sandra, good morning to you. And your words to Pastor before the surgery were well taken.
Yes, it was.
And it actually was a very easy time for him. And he's doing much better than he did the first time he had a
little
surgery.
Bit loopy, a little bit, but I'm still making it.
Yeah, a little loopy, yeah. But
loopy,
okay.
way to go there.
Yeah, yeah. And that's Sister Pearl and Clay. Clay said, yes, sir, one. And Virginia, she says, good morning. Your testimony gave me shivers. Isn't that something?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They gave me too much morphine, but it was worked. It was a plan that was worked out. And so when my wife came 2 or 3 times, I wasn't ready to leave. But finally she came. They took me for a walk and did that test of walking. And then when I went up the steps and come down and walk back, I told the nurse, I said, I can walk down to the end of the hall and come back. I was ready. This is the first time I've ever had to go through something like this. This is the second surgery that I've had on the shoulder. But I'm telling you, I had one of the most amazing experiences.
Oh, he was
in
in his element. He definitely was in his element.
And you know what's so great about
it? They were it was funny because I think they were all going out telling other people, and they were just coming in like a revolving door in the room. But anyway, and I had to tell them, please just give them a minute just to rest.
I would tell them what God was doing in their life, and they were coming with tears and brokenness. Thank you. I thank you, Lord, inside of everybody that's listening to my voice. I am convinced that every one of you, whether my convincing mean anything or not, does not matter. But you know that what I'm telling you is right down the middle of the road, tied down on both sides, holding it in the middle, and it's working too. Okay?
So going back to what you were mentioning earlier, what presence do you carry? What statement are you making when you're presented to another person? And I know we know that we're only presented to ourselves. There's no one else. We're always facing ourselves. But what presence are you carrying? And and I said this on the last time we had a session, that for myself, in being transparent, I had to realize, I came to realize that what I had, through the egoic mind, been focused on was what people see. When people see me, was how did I look? Did they think I was intelligent? Did they think I was literate? Whatever. I had all of these different things, and there was not the foremost desire of presenting Christ. It was mostly egoic. But even when it's an egoic identity that's in the forefront, the Christ shines through it. It's just colored differently.
One of the main things I said to those people coming in the room, I said, I want to tell you something. Jesus is standing right there in you, in me, in this bed, looking at you. Mm-hmm. I don't have any problem with it. I don't have any problem saying it. I only go around not looking for somebody to say it, right, but waiting to see how to say it in a different way each time.
I think my religious, spiritual identity is dissolving.
Yes.
It's dissolving. Yes. And there used to be a desire here to feel spiritual.
Here's what presence would do.
And that's dissolving.
The presence of you, the presence of me is God. When they come in the room, I said, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming to see me. I remember Jesus' gratitude. Mm-hmm. I gratitude people. I have to. Yeah. I have to gratitude. I have to say to my wife, thank you for taking care. She took care of my mama, her mother, her daddy, and her brother, and took care of me. All of this was Christ in one place, individualized. And then she being here. Yes, she will enforce what she said to me and you because she's convinced that what she said will work. When you're convinced that Jesus Christ and you are in the same shoes, that is the presence of God that convinced you out of an infinite knowing how it works. People, let me tell you something. There's something about you. Give me a good example. My dog, for instance, she's a lab and a labradoodle.
No, she's a labradoodle, which is poodle.
Oh, okay, same thing.
Labrador.
Poodle and Labrador. Mm-hmm. Some people come up to her and think she's a poodle.
Because she resembles.
Because she resembles and a cut of hair. Mm-hmm. Some people say, is she a doodle?
Yeah, they immediately recognize.
Or a poodle, yeah.
Yeah, some people immediately recognize.
But her presence attracts everybody's attention, whether she's sticking her head out the window in the Lowe's or the shopping center or walking in the street. Mm-hmm. Everybody will stop and turn their head and look.
In fact, when we're walking in the neighborhood, everyone speaks to baby girl, whether they speak to me or not.
Yep, that's right.
But they will speak to baby girl.
They say, when I'm walking the dog, they're used to seeing me walk. And when I see one out there walking, I don't every time say this, but when I walk up to him, I say, you know what? I see God in you. I said that into the sandwich place here in Kernersville, and the lady said, thank you. And why? I'll tell you why. Christianity is designed to call people to ask the question or to make the statement. I want everybody to see Christ in me. So I give them that. But I'm not giving it that because they want it. I'm giving it that because I found out the truth of who they are in their eternal self.
True. Sinette coming back with a comment. Sinette says, yes, so true. I start to see the colors our light is presented in.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
a special expression of the egos having a dance, making a conflict.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And what I've noticed too, Sinette, is that a lot of people, when they embark on this spiritual journey and they have this a desire to be enlightened or whatever, and I'm not real sure now what enlightenment is, other than it is an acknowledgement and a knowing that you are this. But a lot of us experience some real heavy upheavals while we're on this journey, because and I heard another spiritual teacher or sage say this. It's some of these identities that must be burped out. They must be burped out. So that means you might have been real nice at one point, but when all of this stuff gets burped out, you may not be as nice when it starts coming to the surface. And I remember years ago you did a message, and I don't remember the title of it, but you talked about how that in a jar where there's mud and sediment in the bottom,
mud and water,
the water will be clear as long as that mud is still.
Yeah.
But if you shake the jar, it will muddy the water. That's exactly what's happening to some of us. The sediment that of the identities that have been the heaviest identities that we aren't even aware of most of the time, the egoic identities. When we embark on this spiritual journey to be enlightenment, a lot of times that's shaken up. Yes. And they come to the surface, and you start to think, I'm not making any progress here. I'm actually backtracking. But in actuality, what's happening, it's got to come up and be exposed. Everything that you've been afraid to face must be exposed, and it has to come to the forefront.
God gave us this dog. The value in the natural world of this dog is $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah.
The Lord led us to a lady who did experiments with dogs like her.
Well, they were poodle breeders.
Yeah.
And they were trying, because this is such a new breed, they were trying their hand at Labradors.
Yeah. And they got this dog that if it had not been given to us for $600.
Yeah. We got
a deal.
We got $1,000 dog for a $3,000 dog for $600. Yeah.
But it was meant for this dog to be in our arms.
But we didn't know how she's going to turn out.
No,
in fact, the breeder's name was Take a Chance Puppies.
Yeah. Now, I've had the experience, and some of you have too. When I got ready to go get some wood, I wanted some real wood. You said, well, ain't all wood real? Yes, but this kind of wood that I wanted to get, which is like you, was called Locust Wood. This Locust Wood, I had to go to I couldn't find it just anywhere. It had to be grown around places where there was rocks.
Yep, had to be rough terrain.
Because this tree will not grow in weak places. The Christ that you are will not reveal your true identity, your true identity without something difficult coming up.
And you may not go through a crisis being, how do I want to put it? You may not go through a crisis being the way you think you should be.
Yes.
You may go through the crisis struggling and fighting, but you still come out on the other side because of who you are. You come out on the other side knowing who you are, even when there's the struggle.
What if I told you everything that you're going through and been through, you've already been there, and you rehearsed it before you came here in your infinite mind?
Yes.
That's great. I like that because I don't have to worry about what the next trial going to be or the next event.
And we don't have to worry about trying to be spiritual.
And you don't have to worry about trying to change anything. But let me let you in on this.
Let
you in on this.
Yes.
One of the greatest revelations that could ever happen to anybody in oneness, and of course in the Bible, is realizing that change in your inside attitude is the voice of God speaking to you.
Yes.
Change inside.
That's the only place change takes place.
Because in change, you have seeing. And the seeing we're talking about is knowing. And the knowing we're talking about is not a normal knowing. It has to reach beyond what you read in the book and any book. It has to become an experience so real that it burns itself into your memory, burns itself into the skull of your soul, to where you are ready. Take a deep breath and come home. Take a deep breath and until you do come home. Mm-hmm. Yes, you know that there is such a thing in the earth called the church. You've been talked to about the church, going to church on Sunday morning. But what we're talking about is you becoming the church. Yes. And as you all realize that you are the church, you didn't go to the building and you're no longer disappointed by the false practitioners of church. Nobody in this world can love you like Jesus Christ can, or God. Yes. And nobody inside of you could love any and everything like Jesus did. Give you an example again. Judas received funds or money to find Jesus and betray him. But the love of the Father in Jesus caused that boy, that man, to be friends with Jesus. Jesus called him friend. Yes. He didn't say, "You devil, I bind you, get out." He didn't say that. He said, friend. Judas kissed him and he called him friend. Now, you ain't going to do that if somebody just killed your daughter. You ain't going to do that if the police just whip your butt out there on the street. You ain't going to do this if somebody tied your tongue to a rope and drug you down the street. You ain't going to do this. You ain't going to do this. You're not going to do this just by you studying the scriptures. You ain't going to do this just by you reading the course. You're not going to do this just because I'm preaching it to you. There's something deep down inside of your well, of your eternal essence, that floats up, and we call them float up. It's like we see the visions and things about people's lives. They're called float ups. These float ups that come up will be nothing but the fact that you cannot deny the revelatory insight that came out of your essence. You will not be able to block it because it's your time to see. Yes. Now we're coming home. We're coming home and we never left
home. And when you awaken to the fact that you never left home.
Oneness with God is like your eyes having glasses. Having eyes like glasses. That means God is the cleaning agent. What somebody said, well, I got to get ready. God don't come in no unclean temple.
I said to him yesterday, what if, and this is a biggie. Mm-hmm. You know, I used to believe that there was an actual devil. I no longer believe there's an actual devil, but I do believe there is a dark energy that we all are privy to. And that dark energy poses itself as a devil. Mm-hmm. But I said this to him on yesterday. God, being love, loves the devil as much as he loves Jesus.
Ooh. Now
he could not love him any less.
Yeah, that's a good one there. Look out. Put your shield up.
Could not love any less.
Shooting at you. Do you know that I found out that more people believe that the devil is more real?
They do. God? They actually do. Sue says enlightenment undoes what she thought she was. Yes.
I like that, Sue.
Mm-hmm.
Undoes.
Yeah, what you
It
thought you-
undoes
what you think you are. Yes. And I want to say that I want to put this up again because this is a good refresher. Love is the collapse of the sense of separation.
Mm-hmm.
Love is the desire to remove the gap.
Mm-hmm.
Love is the desire to be one and not two.
That's right.
Love can never be demanding, but instead sets one free. Love has no self-interest and is never concerned with winning.
That's right.
Winning is not in the vocabulary of love. Love has no reason to love. It just is. Love desires nothing from the other. Needing to be right is not the language of love. Love holds no position to argue. Love cannot be threatened.
Wow. Isn't that something?
That's
Some of you may be coming on late now because we didn't give you indication as to whether we'd be on this morning or not, because we did miss Thursday afternoon class.
Yes, we did.
But we did do Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now we're back.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hold this thing as long as I can till next Tuesday coming.
And I can feel you kind of wearing out now.
Yeah, I am.
But Sue said this: imagine being Jesus on the cross.
You are.
Feeling only love.
You are.
But catch her point.
Yeah, I see it.
Imagine being Jesus on the cross, feeling only love while people are crucifying
That's
you.
the truth.
Yes. That's the point.
You know, it's called supernatural. It's not a natural thing for you to be on the cross and feel love for people. And
even this is the other thing. Love doesn't have to feel loving. And I had to come to that realization, because what we call love most of the time is the feeling of affection. That is not what love is.
That's right.
Love is love without any feeling of being loving.
She tells me all the time, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to fall. You don't want to do what I tell you. I know why she's telling me that. That's love. And I receive it. And I'm asking her to give me a little slack so I can jump back. But I do know.
Because I'm like a drill sergeant. I am.
I do like know a drill sergeant. The gift that God is to me is the same gift that God is to you. And I want to thank you again, all of you little nappy necks out there. And
everybody don't have a nappy neck.
All you little
might have a nappy neck, but everybody out there doesn't have a nappy
apple
neck.
pies out there, all you little seekers and finders, thank you so much. We need your financial support. I'm just going to say it briefly. We need your financial support at a moment like this.
I'll put up there how to do it. Most of them know, but
I want you to know that whatever you do, just coming online is greatly appreciated. And I want to say this right quick. When I look over your name, I'm not praying. I'm not saying this as a promotional gain. I take with you by revelation inside of my heart into my closet. This morning I was in the closet too. I don't mind you finding out when I go in the closet, because when I go in there, I'm in there for business. I'm not in there for play. From the position I'm in, I'm talking to the God in you.
Because there's nothing else to talk to.
There's nobody else to talk to.
No one else.
Jesus said him and the Father was one. That means that when he talked to the Father, he was talking to his real self. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I want to bless you right now with $1 million of favor. Mm-hmm. I want to bless you right now with $1 million of knowing Christ. I want to take the unlimited off of $1 million, and I bless you with the fullness power of prosperity, enlightenment, and seeing the truth of your $1 million beyond measure self. Yes. Glory be to God.
Thank you for tuning in to us this morning.
Miss Jill called to check on us. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Jill, for calling.
Yes, thank you, Jill.
Yeah.
And Sister Chris, I'm glad you're on here, sweetie.
Leslie.
She says love is why we are seeing you this morning. Thanks for being who you are.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, sis.
I'm going to take off here. I'm running dry.
Yeah, he's running a little low on gas, so we're going to take off and let him get something to eat and rest. And we'll see you again on Tuesday night. Promise.
But you're the greatest. Alice, Jackie Gleason used to say, Alice, one of these days. To the moon, to the moon, to the moon.
To the moon, to the moon. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, sweetheart. We love you. We'll see you on Tuesday night.
Okay. See ya. Bye-bye.